Fire. One of humans' most basic needs. What does it mean to you? Warmth, light, security? In the backcountry, it can be a necessity for purifying your water or even cooking your food. Whatever the reason is that you may need fire, being able to start one quickly and efficiently can make a big difference. Let's take a closer look at a few of the items that I have used over the years that actually work and that can be purchased on the cheap at your local big box store. All right, before we jump in to look at the actual items to help start the fire, let's first talk real quick about how we light the fire. I always carry a big lighter with me. That's the quickest, easiest way, obviously. However, I have gotten one wet before and it would not light. So I always have a backup lighter with me and storm-proof matches. I got 3 different kinds here. So they all work fairly well. I have had an instance where the match would not strike. So keep that in mind. I think they do go bad over time. Now I always carry a magnesium rod as well. I don't have a lot of experience using these, but I figured as small and light as it is, it's great to have in my arsenal as a backup. Okay, here are some other items that I have used in the past that have all worked really well for me. Except this one. I have not tried this one out in the backcountry yet. I just picked one of these up either at Walmart or Meijer. It's kind of crumbly and moist, but I'm sure it's going to work well. We'll definitely test that out next week. Now, I have used these quite a bit when I first started backpacking. They're like compressed cotton balls with some kind of oil-based compound in there that helps them light. The only problem with these is they're difficult to fluff up. They're pretty packed together and you got to really work at them to fluff them up. But once you do, they light really easily and stay lit really well. There's another version of one in here. It's kind of a moister material that kind of leaves a residue on your fingers. That's why I don't use that one very often, but it does work really well. This one here, kind of like compressed sawdust. They work really well as well. However, they tend to crumble up and make a mess, so I don't use these very often, but I always have one with me in my pack. Next up is an Esbett cube. Now, if you're not familiar with these are great to have as a backup fire starter because you can also use it to cook or boil your water on. You could set up stones on either side of it or logs, and the flame will rise several inches off the cube and you can boil your water right above the cube. The only downfall to these is they smell really bad, kind of like a rotten fishy smell. So you definitely want to put these in your bear bag that you hang if you're in bear country. Next up, and my very favorite, is Instafire. Debuted on Shark Tank several years ago, I believe. This whole bag is only 1.75 ounces, but it's not necessary to take all of it with you. I dump a couple grams into a Ziploc bag, and that much right there will be enough to start at least 2 fires on a weekend trip. Now, if I'm going on a multi-day trip, closer to a week long, I would obviously take a little bit more. But this stuff is so light, so easy to light, and it says it burns on snow and floats and burns on water. So I have not tried that yet. We are going to put this stuff to the test next week for sure and see if that is true. Last but not least, one of my favorites, diesel fuel. Yes, this is diesel fuel off of the farm. It is tax-free diesel fuel. That's why it's red. It is ag diesel, not for road use, but we use this for driving our tractors on the farm. And I almost always take a little bottle of this with me because I never know if I'm going to need it to get a fire started when it's wet and snowy out. All right, these are just a few of the items that have worked really well for me over the years to get my fire started when I'm out in the backcountry. And I hope you have found something here today that may work for you. Be sure to check back next week, and we will be putting some of these items to the test and see how well they actually perform in the real world. Let me know down in the comments what you like to use to get your fire started. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and if you like what you've seen here today, please consider being a subscriber, and I will see you on the next video.